Okay, guys, I don't know what happened. I started the previous live stream with a weird voice. It was like, "Good evening, ladies and gentlemen," and for some reason it didn't work out, and the live stream stopped going. So I honestly don't know what happened. I hope it wasn't because of the voice, but I tried everything I could potentially, and it didn't work out. So I guess you couldn't see me, you couldn't hear me, because I asked a couple times for you to comment in the chat, and no one really commented. So it seemed that no one was that it wasn't working. So guys, if you see that the live stream is coming up in the YouTube section, wherever, so please join again, ask your questions again, I'll answer them, because I saw that you already wrote some questions there, but I couldn't really answer them because no one was hearing me, no one was seeing me, so that was a bit weird. So hopefully you are joining again, those of you who were on the failed live stream a couple minutes ago. So guys, please share your questions in the chat, and I'll be happy to answer that. I'm sorry for the previous live stream. I don't know what happened. Really, I was trying to figure out like what was going on, and it never worked out. So maybe something to do with our Wi-Fi, because now I'm on the mobile data and it seems to be working well. So maybe something was happening, which actually makes sense because it's raining, and every time it's raining in the Czech Republic, the internet's not working for whatever reason, or at least O2 here. So hi Omar, you made a first like though. Thank you very much. Could you actually see me and hear me there, or not really? Because it seemed like no one was hearing me, no one was seeing me. The screen was also kind of like blurred. So I actually don't know if you could see me or hear me or not. But anyway, not at all. Okay, yeah, that sucks. Because I saw some nice questions there. I saw also a Czech lady join in asking about an employment contract. So I wanted to answer that as well, but there was no point if it wasn't recording or like live streaming. Live stream wasn't streaming. Safe haven, yes, all is good. I'm happy now. It's all working. So guys, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Please put them into the comments or into the chat or whatever it is here, and I'll be happy to answer them. I'll be here probably for like 20 minutes or so, then I'll go home. So please use the 20 minutes. I'll be happy to answer anything you throw my way. Abu Jawad Jaffrey, hi Abu Jawad, thank you for joining. Omar, sometimes I'm too late, but sometimes I'm too early. I was checking 7 p.m. Algiers time. Yeah, it depends kind of. I have a time blocked for that in my planner, but sometimes, you know, some clients come in or something, or an appointment goes longer and I postpone it. So sometimes I just do it late like this. I try to do it between 6 and 7 ish, but sometimes it doesn't work out that way. Parchak, hello sir, I got PhD from Charles Uni. My first attempt at student visa didn't work. I didn't have Indian PCC. Now I got that. My professor asked me if I can apply for research visa. I have both docs. Yeah, I believe we are in touch via email. So if we arrange the documents check, I'll be happy to go through everything, or one of my colleagues, and we'll tell you what to do next. Omar, sorry for not donating. The bank has new restrictions to Visa cards while using it with Google Pay. You deserve the best. Thank you very much. No worries. No worries. Indarjit Gohel. Hello, Jans. Nice to see you again. Nice to see you guys as well. Part required for researcher visa. Yes, sir. I'm in touch. I sent you scanned copy of docs. Perfect. There seem to be no questions. Guys, what's going on? Please write some questions. Otherwise, this will be pretty boring live stream. Just reading your comments, how much you love me and all that. So Safe haven, if all documents for the employee card is submitted correctly at the embassy, what are the chances of refusal from the Ministry of Interior in the Czech Republic? Depends. Because there are two things that generally can make a problem in case of an employee card application. First is you, so making mistakes in documents, being a criminal, missing some deadlines, stuff like that. So like the factors on your side, let's say. And then the kind of more important part in case of the employee card is the employer's side. So if you're employed by a solid company that already have a couple employees, maybe it's even a big company, international company, whatever, like a safe employer, the chances are pretty high that you will get approved. If your employer is like a small kebab shop somewhere that doesn't pay social security and healthcare for their employees, most likely your employee card will be denied. So that mainly depends on your employer. If it's a solid employer, like a bigger company or solid company, then you're fine. If it's if the employer might have some problems like with paying social security, healthcare, taxes, all that, then you might get denied. Do I apply for student route again on 7th if I'm going for researcher visa? Well, it kind of depends what you book the appointment for. Those are obviously two different types of applications. One is researcher, one is student, so that's not the same application. So it depends on what you book an appointment for on the 7th. Question is, what is better for you? Yeah, that would be something to discuss probably, because they are both a bit different applications, and especially what you can do afterwards or during. So yeah, we'll see the documents and then we can talk. What about the 8 days, still no action from the MOI? Am I screwed? Well, this is unfortunately a question not for me, but for the person who's working with you, which is Petra, I believe. So I cannot really answer that because I'm not following any cases basically. So I don't know what exactly is the situation and where it's stuck or not. Ellen, I completed my master's in France. So I have a job search visa for France, which is also valid in other Schengen countries for 90 days. So I travel to the Czech Republic and look for a job in 90 days. That's something you should verify with the French side. Generally, yes, if the visa allows you to travel to other Schengen countries, then you can travel to the Czech Republic as well. On the other hand, depends on where you're from. Ellen McLean, that sounds like a British name or American name, but I can imagine it's also an Indian name and other nationalities, so it depends, because 90 days is certainly not enough to find a job, apply for an employee card, get the employee card approved, come here, get the biometrics card, and have the whole process finished. So definitely you will not get any type of visa in the Czech Republic within the 90 days. But coming here, looking for a job, and then applying for an employee card somehow, somewhere, that's possible. But you definitely, like 90 days in Czech immigration does not really mean anything. Like 90 days, it will only take you to prepare all the documents and get an appointment at some embassy. Maybe you will have like 2 weeks for someone to start the application process. So anyway. Abu Javad, the answer, I always watching your informative videos. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. Omar, we need 20 likes. Make the algorithm recommend these lives now where you find free detailed consultation like Mr. Jan is providing. That's true, guys. Now, Omar is my biggest fan here. Comes here very often, unless he has a period when he doesn't. And he always cheers everyone to like and comment. So thank you very much, Omar. Teresa, děkuju, že jste přišla zpátky. Thank you very much, Teresa, for coming back here, because I saw you on the other live stream and I wanted to answer your question, but I wasn't heard, I wasn't seen, and I couldn't do anything about that. So I had to close the live stream and start a new one. So I'm happy you're here. So visa application, family reunification, North Africa. Do you apply for a Schengen visa first and then long-term visa? And is it advisable to document a future employment contract from a Czech employer on the first application if the applicant has one? That's more complex than it sounds. depends on if you're just dating or if you're married. So I assume you are a Czech citizen and your someone, either partner or husband, I guess, or wife, are from North Africa. Generally speaking, it works the way that your spouse or partner must first get a short-term visa, Schengen visa, to get to the Czech Republic legally. But then it depends. If you're married, it's a bit easier to get, because you can get any type of visa. If you're not married, then it might be a bit more complicated to prove your relationship to the embassy to get the short-term visa. So that's first step, or first like difference there. But yes, then you and your partner or your spouse gets a short-term visa, then they come to the Czech Republic, and then within the validity of the short-term visa, you have to go together to the Ministry of the Interior and submit your temporary residence permit application as a family member of an EU citizen. It's not a visa, it's not a long-term visa, it's a temporary residence permit. And that's submitted here. If you have all the documents ready and they're prepared well and properly, then your spouse or partner can get something called a bridging visa, a sticker in his passport or her, and they can stay here, they can start working, they can wait until the decision is made. As for, like, there are many things I would like to cover here, but that would be 20 minutes just explaining your situation, because North Africa, that will be very complicated. If you're not married, it will be even way more complicated. So not the best situation, honestly, but can work out potentially. As for showing an employment contract, that's a bit tricky, because for the application, if you're not married, you need to prove that you will be making enough money to support yourself. Like yourself, I mean the family, the couple. So having a job would actually be good, but your partner anyway cannot work until he gets at least, or she gets at least, they get at least the bridging visa. So it will make no difference basically at this point, and even it could be maybe a bit counterproductive or whatever, because then the ministry could question if the person is moving here really to live with you, or they are just using you to be able to work here. So I would probably not show the employment contract initially, but I would show it later, unless your income is high enough that your spouse doesn't need to work. Hopefully this makes sense. There is a lot to cover, but hopefully this was at least a bit useful. 3 minutes with Karim. Hi, I have a question. I got full funded scholarship at one of the top Chinese university in 2020. Due to COVID, I start PhD at the start of 2023 due to restrictions for on-campus study. Now for 24-25, I got fully funded scholarship at CZU. Now I want to quit my PhD here in China and start fresh at CZU. Will this create any problem during visa interview? And please let me know how to approach this issue during interview. Well, yes, most likely there will be questions about that. And if you don't plan on doing the same here, but how to approach it, or what questions they could exactly ask, or what you should exactly answer, that would be probably for like a deeper consultation where we would discuss everything about your case, what you will be doing here, exactly what you did there, what's your story, how you got there, why you stayed there. Generally speaking, what the ministry is looking at, and I've done a video about this, so if you go somewhere, I don't know where you click to get to my channel, but if you go there and you go to the search part and search for student interview, then it will show you, or visa interview, whatever, it will show you at least 2 videos about this topic there. So watch those. But generally speaking, the ministry is trying to verify if you really are coming here to do what you say you will be coming here. So generally speaking, they will be questioning what you did before. Yes, like why did you study there? Now why you're ending? Now why do you need to come to the Czech Republic? Like what's better here? What's different here? And they will also test your knowledge about the program itself. So what exactly you will be studying, what exactly you will be doing, who will be your teachers, where you will be living, what's the school's name, what's the location of the school, all this. Because the main thing is for the ministry to see that you really come in here to do PhD and not come in here to get a visa and then find another job, or I don't know, find a local spouse or stuff like that. So this is what they are trying to verify generally during the interview. I want to book for research visa. My PhD is in cancer pharmacology. It's quicker, or should I have sent docs? Generally speaking, the researcher is a bit easier because also the school is there behind you, like saying, okay, we want this person here. So maybe it would be better to apply for the researcher. Abu Jawad, how much can earn in Czechia as electricians work? Honestly speaking, I have no idea how much electricians work, but generally workers of any type, like this, I don't know how you call it in English, but like these kind of profession, like plumbers and electricians, not too many Czech citizens wants to do it anymore. Everyone wants to sit in the office and like just type something into the laptop. So those positions and painters and like jobs like this are actually getting pretty well paid, generally speaking, because there is a big demand and like very low or low supply. So if you're reconstructing your house or building something, it might be very difficult to find a reliable company that will do it properly. So I think the salary would be pretty good compared to other jobs, but I don't know any like concrete number from the top of my head. Omar, yes, I'm working with Miss Petra. I wrote a statement explaining and answering some questions coming from the MOI. Let me know what you think. Is it a sign that they care to approve? Again, this live stream is primarily about like general answers. But in your case, I would need to follow, like, okay, one thing I will say is that Petra used to work at the ministry. So she was on the other side dealing with the immigration. So she knows what she's doing, and her supervisor, who, if she's not sure about something, or if she needs an advice, or she needs just a second opinion, her supervisor is Daria, who's the co-owner and co-founder of the company. So you're in the best possible hands. So whatever approach Petra and Daria like took, that was the best that could be done for sure. Hopefully this helps. But I cannot give you an advice now or my opinion about a case I'm not supervising. So because yeah, I don't know anything about how that happened and what happened there exactly. So, but you're in good hands with Petra, and especially Daria, who's been doing this for 12 years. Ellen. Yes, I can understand it might take a long time, but let's say I got job offer and then exit the Czech Republic and apply for an employee card from Dresden. Is it doable? Well, it depends on where you're from. Because in Dresden, you can only apply if you can apply at any Czech embassy in the world. So if you're an American, yes, that's fine. But then you would not even need the French visa to come to the Czech Republic. You would have the 90 days visa-free stay anyway. If you're from India, let's say, then you can only apply in Dresden if you've been residing in some EU country for more than 2 years and you still have a valid residence permit at that time. So technically you can do that, but it depends on where you're from, because it's a bit different for every nationality. Teresa, merit? Well, it depends. Like the setup, honestly speaking, the setup from our experience with embassies in Northern Africa, they kind of see all the relationships and all the marriages fake, like as a default. That like a Czech lady goes to the sea there, finds a man, marries him, and then wants to bring him to Europe. And then as soon as he's here, he goes to Germany and finds another girl and stays in Germany. And that's the standard story, let's say. So the ministry or the embassies actually make it very difficult to get any short-term visa based on marriage, based on the relationship. Of course, it depends on the case. Like if you've been married for 5 years, and out of those 5 years you spent like 4 living with your husband in that country, and now you want to go back together to the Czech Republic, okay, that might be very reasonable. But if you got married 2 years ago and since then you only saw each other twice, that you once went there and he once maybe went here, or maybe not even, and you went twice there, that will be probably very difficult. But yes, the advantage is, maybe to avoid even all that, is that if you're married, then your husband can actually enter the Czech Republic any way which is legal, and then he can submit the application. So even if he got a visa from, say, France or Spain or Italy or wherever, he can easily get visa depending on where he's from. So even if he got like a French visa, and the French visa would allow him to travel to the Czech Republic, then you can use it, or he can use it, to submit the temporary residence permit application. So then basically the whole relationship thing would not be even mentioned anywhere, and he might have higher chances of getting even the short-term visa approved. Omar, or this could tell that they're trying to deny it. Understand you don't follow my application, but answer in general, please. Yeah, no, I don't want to do that, because now I don't see this professional, because Petra's handling the case. Petra has some, how it works when we get cases, okay? Or generally, guys, if you want to hire our services, how it works. Usually I'm the first you speak with, because I'm responsible for sales, and I also have the same experience as Daria, so like 12, 13 years now in the business. So I do kind of the first assessment. I speak with you, I ask you questions, and I try to understand the whole situation to see if you have some chances or not, or what would be the best visa types, or what would be the best approach. And I don't accept cases where I don't see that there is a chance to get the visa approved, or where I see that it will be too complicated or something like that. Because it makes no sense to accept a case where I know it will be denied, or it's very likely it will be denied, or there are some problems already from the beginning before we even started working together, because then it's not good for neither side. Not for us, not for you, not even for the ministry or for the embassy. It will be complicated for everyone. Makes no sense to do that. But then, when I explain everything, you cover the service fee, then you get assigned to your specific immigration advisor or immigration specialist, and then they actually start working the whole case with you. And then those are the ones who actually, I gave you in the beginning, I give you like the general idea, general like direction. Okay, we should do this based on my experience and based on what you told me, what we discussed. We should go this route. But then the immigration specialist is the one who makes that happen, and they might tweak the way a bit because they get more information about you and your case than I had in the beginning. So the advice I give you in the beginning might be slightly different from what is actually happening with your immigration specialist when they get more information from you, when we get into the timelines, when we get in touch with the embassy and all that. So especially the timing can change, and some like tweaks in the way can be done. So I don't really want to comment on a case that someone else is handling, because I don't see what they are exactly doing and what's the stage there. No matter Chibonda, it takes how long to be invited for visa interview? Depends on which one, because not for all the all the visa types there is a visa interview. If you applied for a visa where there is generally a visa interview, which is generally a student visa or a business visa, then in most cases they do the interview right away. When you're submitting your documents, they do the interview right away. Sometimes it can take a couple weeks, couple months before you get invited for an interview, because then it depends on the Ministry of the Interior if they want to do the interview or not. Omar, if you can, then it's totally fine. Yeah. Ayman Kule. I try to pronounce your names, guys, as best I can, but I'm sure I'm mispronouncing. So I'm not making fun of your names. I'm just I just have no idea how to pronounce them. So Ayman Kule, probably pronounced completely differently. What size of our rental property is needed for dependent visa as well as dependent residence permit? Well, there are some rules for that. I believe it's like 15 square meters for the first person and then 6 square meters for every other person. So if it was 3 people, that would be 15 plus 6, 21 plus 6, 27. But no one really checks that, especially if you provide the proof of accommodation form instead of a lease agreement. Then the ministry doesn't know how many people, they know how many people live in the apartment, but they don't know how big is the apartment because you cannot publicly find it out. You can find out who is the owner, where the flat is located, like when it was bought, and if it's a flat. All these kind of things you can find, but not how big is the apartment. So they usually don't care. Of course, if the studio was, or if you had like 5 family members and you lived in one room and you provided a lease agreement where it said you're renting a room and 5 people are living there, then the ministry could have a problem with that because that would not meet the requirements. But if they don't know how big the apartment is, they don't usually care unless there have been 20 people registered in the same apartment. But again, I believe first person 15 square meters and then 6 or 12 the first person and then 6 for each other person, something like that, like 12 or 15 for the first and then 6 for the next. Alan McLean, because you had mentioned previously that getting an appointment in Dresden is quite fast, and I've also been in France for more than 2 years. Yeah, that's fine. If you've been in France for more than 2 years, you can apply in Dresden, but you must have a valid residence permit there, because if you... Actually, I'm not really sure how that would work. If you applied in Dresden while still having a valid visa or residence permit in Germany, but then France, sorry. But once your visa or residence permit in France expires, you would need to leave the Schengen space and you need to collect the visa from the same embassy where you applied, which is Dresden. So you would somehow need to get to Dresden to collect the visa, the approved one, which might be doable. You just get a short-term visa, some like tourist visa, stuff like that. But the question is if the application will be fine and not denied, because I believe it's the way that it only refers to applying, but basically during the approval process you would lose the residence in France, so it might potentially influence the process as well. So it's kind of a difficult question. The easiest route would be having a residence permit in France, maintaining it until you get the Czech one approved, and only then canceling it. That would be the safest approach. Teresa Procházková, thank you. My pleasure. Hamza Al-Kudach. Is it okay to work another part-time job knowing that I'm working full-time in a company and I have an employee card? Thank you. If you have a standard employee card, then all the jobs you want to do must be approved by the Ministry of the Interior. So if you have a full-time job and you have an employee card based on that and you want to add another job, you can potentially do it. You cannot have like 2 full-time jobs, that the Czech law doesn't allow that, but you can have 1 full-time job and 1 part-time job, but it must be approved by the Ministry of the Interior first. And you cannot use DPP for that. So potentially you can have more jobs under 1 employee card, but generally they should always be approved by the ministry first. How long does it usually take to open LLC, and around how much time does it cost to open it? How much does it cost to open it? We don't open LLCs much because in most cases that's not the right approach. For most people we work with, it's generally better to get a trade license and start as a freelancer, and only if the business is really going well, and you start hiring people, all that, then maybe switch to a limited liability company. But for most clients, we recommend starting with a trade license and then see how it goes. But generally, LLC, I would say a couple of weeks, like 2-3 weeks. And the cost depends on the starting capital, if you have your own business address or not. So anything between, say, 30,000 and 50,000 crowns. Potentially might be less, but something like that, all costs included, because you will need to get a criminal check from the country of origin, apostille, translated, all that. So the total cost, I would say 30 to 50,000 crowns and 2 to 3 weeks of time, depending, of course, if it takes 3 months to get a criminal check, that will delay the process, but yeah. Say heaven, Jan, you're so helpful to us. Thank you for your time and dedication in helping us with insights and information. I hope one day I can meet you in person. Thanks so much. My pleasure. You know where our office is, so when you're here, stop by. Ishan Varun, hi, what's up? Hey, what's up? What is this live about? It's about immigration to the Czech Republic. I co-own a company, immigration and relocation company called Move to Prague Relocation Services in the Czech Republic. So if you're a foreigner who's moving to the Czech Republic, or if you're a company that's hiring a foreigner, then we help with that. And this live stream is answering your questions about everything you want to know about the immigration to the Czech Republic. Omar, most times up to 45,000 crowns, you can check jobs CZ website. Okay, yeah, that's actually a good idea to check jobs.cz. It could at least give you an idea of what companies are offering. 3 minutes with Karim, why you're not answering my questions? I believe I answered. The one thing I see here is which you mentioned some time ago. I don't see it as a question. And before that, you had the Chinese scholarship, and now Chezetu, and I answered that already. So I don't see any other questions which I would not answer. Parth, thank you, sir. I will apply for research visa itself and avoid student visa as it's not allowing me to take an appointment. All right, yep, sounds good. Shubham, hi, I'm from India. I'm trying to apply for a long-term residence permit for study purpose as a PhD student in Czech Embassy, New Delhi, but I can book appointment for the last 2 months. Okay. Yeah, that's what happens. The slots are limited, and there are too many people in India applying for the appointments. Now is the highest season still, so August, September, October is the highest season. July, kind of, and November, it's starting to slow down, so now it should be better. From October is still relatively high, but then November, December, January, February, March, April, May should be better for getting appointments. 3 minutes with Karim. Hey Karim, I already answered that question, so if you missed that, just replay the live stream, and I already answered that. Hamza, sorry for asking a lot. When I get the permanent residency, hopefully should I visit Czech every 6 months, or should I stay at least 6 months in Czech per year in order to keep the permanent residency? Well, if you get the standard permanent residency as a non-EU citizen, then you can spend up to 6 years in other EU countries and up to 1 year in in non-EU countries. So you don't need to really be here for more than 6 months a year, but there are some limits you cannot exceed. This is the same question about the appointment. So Omar, sorry, that was the second part of the question, got separated, just skip them. Shubham, I answered the question just a couple seconds ago. I'm on 15 square meters in the whole, including bathroom. Yeah, generally 15 meters of living space. I've checked that a couple times in the past. There is a special part of the law where this is mentioned, but it's very difficult to find. And I don't think it specifies. It's just the square footage of the space, because it's about how much space you should have to live comfortably, to have some personal space, all that. So I think I would need to double check. I'm not sure about that, but I think it includes everything. Because that's why the first person might be a bit higher number, because then all the other person are just 6 meters square. So that's what you need to live. Like that's one bed and maybe some like bedside table and stuff like that, like a smaller room. But the first person must have the 15 meters, which might then include the common areas of the apartment. Let me see, guys. Okay, so I said 20 minutes, it's almost 40. So the last question I'll answer will be Osama Bose. When I get there, that will be the last question I answer. So back here, Ismail Mohamud Ali Alasov. Hi bro, my application is granted before 25 days, still no email from embassy, and visa section of Czech embassy in Ethiopia is closed. And then I don't know when they will open. Please advise. Well, there is not much I could advise here. Yes, generally you need to wait for the embassy to get in touch with you. Definitely check your email spam folder, because sometimes the embassy emails end up there or in your mass folder or whatever kind of like these folders you have. So definitely check that. You can potentially also get in touch with the embassy, because sometimes what happens is that you make a typo in your email address, or they make a typo in your email address, and they actually send the email some time ago, but it was never delivered to you because of this typo. But if the consular section is closed, probably that means that they're not working, and they will only start sending the emails once they reopen. So yeah, I wish I had better answer for you, but I don't. Nur Hayati Air, hello Jan from Malaysia. Hey to Malaysia. Have you had any experience with clients from Malaysia, and for how long the process of applying for an employee card would take? I landed a job in Prague and may need your help soon. Yeah, we had some clients from Malaysia, not too many, but we had some. I remember one recently, but that wasn't for an employee card, it was for a business visa. Employee card, generally the ministry has 60 to 90 days, and I would say they generally stick to it. So I would expect 60 to 90 days. The problem with countries that are this far away is that the embassy does not make the decision. They only take the documents from you and they physically mail them to the Czech Republic. So sometimes it can take 3 weeks before the documents even reach the Czech Republic and someone actually starts considering and checking your application. So there is usually some delay compared to if you applied in Dresden, for example. But generally I would expect 60 to 90 days for the decision, and of course we'll be happy to help with that. Just get in touch. Parchak, hello sir, just last question. Will my reapplying and research visa instead of student visa, will I be asked about it and create any problem for my visa? Not sure what exactly you mean. Like if you've previously got an appointment for one type of visa and then you will be getting another, I don't think it will be much of a problem. They have so many appointments, they don't even like remember such things, I think. Ayman, how the PhD students come under researcher visa, which has separate appointment booking system, which is very easy to get. Good, thank you for sharing this. Osama, so that's the last answer. Jamshad NJ says please answer, but I don't see any questions from you. Let me see, Jamshad, if I find your question somewhere, but I don't see it anywhere. No, I don't see that you would ask any question. So there is nothing I could answer, sorry. And so the last question I will answer is from Osama. Is it advisable to email the Ministry of Interior after 120 and my study visa still under process? Not really advisable, because they should not tell you anything via email anyway. And they should not share any personal information this way, because no one knows if really you are writing them or not, and you would probably not want someone else to get the details of your case if it's not you. So they should not give you any update about that. What you can do is you can write an official letter, either just requesting the status of your application, which doesn't really do anything in many cases, but it can, if they just forgot about your application, it reminds them and they maybe start working on that again. But generally it has no legal power. Or then you can also send them a complaint against inactivity, which is already like a very strong legal matter, and they have to react to that, and that usually helps get the case moving. On the other hand, it can also get moving in the denial direction, because you might piss someone off at the ministry by complaining about them. So it's up to you if you want to go this route. We generally recommend waiting as long as you can, but of course in some cases, if you already have to start your studies, or if something like your job says, okay, if you don't start within 2 months and we don't want you anymore. So in some cases it makes sense to really push and do the complaint letter, even if it might potentially hurt your application, because it's worse if you don't have any answer at all anyway. So guys, thank you very much you all for being here. Yeah, thank you very much. I was just reading all the things here, and I'm happy that this is useful. I've done, I think, over 400 videos already, and they're all uploaded on my channel. So chances are that if you have any question, it's already somewhere there answered. So just go to my channel. If you find it useful, share it as well. Recommend, like, do the needful. You know what you should do. Okay guys, thank you very much. Have a lovely night or day or whatever it is there where you're watching, and I will see you again Monday, Thursday, until the end of the world.